Welcome to Law Next PR, the podcast where we put a spotlight on the latest news coming out of the legal tech industry. This is Bob Ambrogi, and in each sponsored episode of Law Next PR, I interview a legal tech company about its latest news. Today, we're talking about Filevine, and the news announced today that it has just raised $400 million in an all-equity financing. Here to discuss the news with me is Dale Bowen, the Chief Financial Officer at Filevine, and Michael Anderson, its Chief Product Officer. Dale and Michael, welcome.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. Good to be here.
So I've kind of said the headline here in terms of Filevine announcing it's raised $400 million. But Dale, as Chief Financial Officer, why don't you kind of give us a little more detail about the news you've announced today?
Happy to do it, Bob. The $400 million announcement is really related to two different raises. We raised a smaller amount a year ago, but have had great interest in the company since that time. And last year, we took quite a bit of funds from Insight Partners. They're back again for this round that we just closed last month, along with Accel and Halo Fund. And we couldn't be more pleased with these investors. They support what we're doing. They help us with insights on what we can do moving forward to better the product. And it's just a great partnership. So we couldn't be more pleased.
This is one of the largest investments ever in a legal tech company. The total that you've raised, I mean, you had previously raised a total of, I think, $226 million plus dollars, including $108 million in 2022. What do you think it is that inspires or that generates this kind of level of investor interest, investor confidence in the company? Michael, maybe I'll throw that one to you.
Yeah, I think that what inspires it is the ability to grow for many years to come. It's interesting, 8 years ago or so, when Filevine and a lot of other legal tech entrants today were maybe earlier stage, I remember people thought, oh, the legal industry isn't a place where you can make very large investments. And it turns out that this area is really in desperate need and has a large appetite for great technology. And what I really think is happening is I think the investor community in recent years is starting to see that great technology can enable and extend the reach of great practitioners in the field, great legal professionals, and especially when it comes to AI. So yeah, I think it's really driven by how much can be done. It seems like legal tech is a niche industry from maybe those on the outside. Certainly, Bob, and others probably as well. There are so many things inside of the legal tech umbrella. There are so many problems to solve. And we are interested in pretty much every single one of them. We really hope to be the investment of choice and also the product of choice for legal professionals. No matter what practice area you're in, whether you are a litigator or you're in transactional law, whether you are at a law firm or whether you're in-house, we want to solve your technology problems. And us engaging with those problems provides certainly growth opportunities for the investors that Dale was talking about, but it also represents real-life impact for those that are using the technology.
The announcement emphasized.
Yeah, go ahead, Dale.
Bob, because Michael's not going to pat himself on the back for this, but he should. One of the other reasons investors really love Filevine is the product, and it is sticky. We've got customers that have been with us for 9 or 10 years. Michael and his team have built this product that has some of the highest retention that I've ever seen in my career. And that's kudos to a product that fits the market and continues to innovate. Michael, there's your props.
Hey,
you won't ask for them, but they're there.
Yeah. So what are colleagues for, right?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's ultimately all about the product, right? I mean, if you don't have the product, there's nothing to invest in there. The announcement emphasized the fact that this is an all equity financing. Could you just kind of talk about why that matters or what the significance of that is?
Sure. I think that for us, what it means, two things. One is that there are investors that are willing to put money behind us. And when they do that, they invest in the business, not just for today, but for the future. And that's a true partnership, as opposed to maybe something like a debt funding. And there are companies that use debt to fund the growth, and we've got a small facility ourselves. But what it means to us is that people are signing up to partner with us and work alongside us. We're very aligned with our investor base.
Yeah. So how does this money get allocated and deployed?
Couple of
Yeah,
things.
I
One
can
is,
take a crack at that. I think it's
there you
really a
go.
combination of both of us on this call. We have routine initiative and investment meetings at our C-suite level, along with other stakeholders, uh, talking about investments that we can make in the product, talking about potential acquisition targets. Again, we are really driven by the problems that we encounter among our current customers and among our prospective customers. And so when we see all of that come in, all of that traffic of, can you handle this for me? What about this situation? That spurs us to then engage with various solutions. Some of them might be, like I said, among acquisition targets. Some of them might be us just building a solution internally to handle something better.
Yeah. Dale, do you want to add to that?
Sure. Product is definitely there. Sales is there. You know that, and Mike's really deep into this. He's up to his neck in it. But the AI tools we have now to continue to move the business forward, those are not inexpensive, and it takes some investment. And so we're looking at all of these kind of things in order to continue to grow the business. The business is in great financial shape. And so as we continue to build it out and scale it so that we can grow even faster, we're really confident in what the outcome will be next year, the year after that, and so on. So great discipline in the process of allocating those funds that have just come into us.
Yeah. Michael, I know you put a lot of emphasis over the last couple of years in deploying generative AI driven products. Can you kind of tell us what kind of adoption are you seeing for the products that you've already built, and how does this financing help you take that further down the road?
Yeah, great question. We've seen really nice adoption, growth and adoption at almost every single metric. We have folks maybe engage with AI really from a workplace perspective first inside of Filevine, and they come back and they use it again and they get a little bit more comfortable with it. I talk to my colleagues. I think one of the unintuitive things that I think we see people use inside of our tool is checking if AI can do something that they already can do or that they already know the answer to. I think it's always just kind of interesting that that's one of the first things that people check, almost like you would check a new hire or a new employee. You ask if they have retained information, you ask if they know the answers that you already know the answer to. But it's kind of the first step to get a level of trust that, like, okay, this can consistently know things that I already know, or this can consistently do things that I already do. Uh, can I put a little more trust into it? And so, yes, we're seeing it grow across our law firms or in-house counsel groups, but also among those who are using it, they're using it more. Uh, there's a lot of people who would like to see start using it among our customers, but among those who do, we see great engagement. We get great feedback. And I think one of the great things about working in the legal tech industry is that you get vocal users. That's something that I think other industries might take for granted. You get someone that's using it, someone that's relying on it, and also someone who's willing to tell you how they would like it to change. That maybe that just comes with the territory working with attorneys and paralegals that they have no problem expressing opinions, but we love that. We know only by kind of being a strong enough product to engage with on a consistent basis, and then getting the feedback to make it even stronger is one of the things we love about this customer base that we have.
Dale, just sticking with the Gen AI for a moment, the press release describes that the company sees significant growth in usage and revenue from AI-related products. From with the CFO hat on, how do you see that continuing to develop over the next couple of years? How do you continue to scale that over the coming years?
One of the things that we found really interesting is that as Michael and his team have built these AI products, they are starting to return more revenue per customer than the flagship Filevine core product. And what we're seeing is that we've got great retention in this customer base. Mike builds a product with his team. We sell that to that customer. He builds something else. We sell that to the customer as well. And so with these tools, we're seeing pretty fast development of products that are really required in the industry now and by our customers. And so my expectation is in the future is that we will continue to accelerate new products to the market and fill those needs in a faster way with our customers than we have been able to before.
You talk a lot about this concept, Michael. This is a product question, but you talk a lot about the Filevine platform as emphasizing built in, not bolted on. Can you talk about what you mean by that and why it matters?
Yeah, when you engage with various elements of the platform, whether it's payments or certainly AI, what we want the experience to be is one in which it feels natural. It feels like the tool that you need is right where you need it when you need to use it, that there's not an extra authentication step, that there's not a change of scenery inside of the product, that someone can do what they intend to do with a toolkit that is just in time available to, whatever job to be done that you have. If you have some sort of quick question, you can chat with your case. If you are trying to bold all of the definitions inside of a document, that's something that you can have an AI agent do. The difference between us and others is that maybe sometimes they can say, oh, we can do that too, but you will engage with multiple point solutions. You will engage with frustrating integrations. You will engage with perhaps legacy systems of record with a bolted on kind of AI or other experience on top of it. That's what we mean.
Dale, I want to ask you about the investors. I mean, you talked about Insight, Accel, Halo. Obviously, something important they bring to the table is money. But I wonder if you could talk from a CFO perspective, what else it is that having the right investors brings to a company such as Filevine.
I love that question, Bob. There are investors who have operated before, and we have that with Halo. Ryan Smith, who's anchored that particular fund, he was the CEO at Qualtrics for many years and still he's the chairman of the board. So from that perspective, you've got a voice of somebody who may have already seen what you're facing. On the other side, you've got investors who have large portfolios of companies that have seen things that we may not have seen before as well. And so there's a depth of experience within that portfolio that they can leverage and benefit us. And from a CFO perspective, I've not seen everything, but I know that with Insight's portfolio, Accels and Halos, that they can put me in contact with somebody who's seen something that I may be facing the first time. Leveraging those relationships and that experience helps us avoid mistakes, helps us to accelerate the business. And that is the benefit of having very good investor partners.
I know that we only have a limited amount of time to talk about this, but I did want to kind of look ahead a little bit and just ask, Michael, maybe I can start with you on this, but again, the press release talks about the fact that the company has nearly 6,000 customers, 100,000 users. Where do you see the opportunities for growth in the years to come, the immediate years to come, and where do you see the company kind of heading over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So one, I think the obvious first answer to that is there are many law firms out there who are still not engaging with AI, who are still not using it to accelerate their workflows, who do not kind of view it as kind of like a necessary tool. And it's certainly the way that we embed it inside of our matter management, doc management, billing systems, that they don't see it as kind of a necessary tool. So that's kind of an obvious place. In that regard, we want to make sure that we can attract and retain the best data science, the best machine learning, the best engineering talent to not only make sure that those tools that we've already have are scalable, stable, reliable, but they continue to improve. They continue to be better than industry averages. So I would say that's one. Another area where we also would like to grow, and I mentioned this kind of before, is in-house when it comes to corporates, in-house when it comes to governments or government agencies. We have made really great initial headway in both of those areas. We'd like to do more there. So I would say those are three areas of growth that kind of immediately spring to mind. What's ahead? I would say that we are just echoing kind of what I mentioned before. In our story, the lawyer, the paralegal, They are the heroes and heroines of what is happening in technology and legal. They're at the very center of our story. They are not kind of off to the side. They're not displaced. They're at the center of our story. And so us, Filevine, continuing to recenter them, to approach them with tools and say, how would you like to work? And we'll make sure that you can have the computational advantage in the modes that you like to work and have the best technology available to you in the ways that you like to work. That's what we envision. We envision further centering that attorney and paralegal experience with our technology.
Dale, anything to add to that in terms of kind of, where you see growth headed, where you see the company headed?
Our product, the product that Mike has led the team, it's finding uses outside of just legal teams. And so I think what you'll see from us in the years ahead is an expansion of who we serve with this great product. And we're already starting to get some traction in larger government agencies, as an example. Growth is there in other markets as well. And so part of the funding that we've got right now is to continue to build out the product so it's got some really good fit in other markets.
Just about out of time, but any last words or final thoughts that we haven't had a chance to talk about? Michael, let me start with you.
I would just say that if you are interested in technology and if your organization, your law firm has not engaged or you're unsatisfied with your current vendor, I hope what this news signals to you is really that Filevine is serious about the challenges that you face. We're serious enough to take on this kind of investment, to put it to productive use, to enhance and improve and fashion and create and invent all of the tools that we can to make your experience better. That's what I want people to know.
Thank you. Dale, anything else you'd like to say?
Mike and his team listens to our customers, and that's how the product gets better. So if you're looking for a product that you can expand your practice on, increase your efficiency, and have some input on what it looks like next year and the year after that, Filevine's the place for you.
Very well, Dale, Michael, congratulations on this news, and thanks for coming on the show to tell us about it.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
That's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, or you can find all of them on YouTube. Just search for Law and XPR. This is Bob Ambrogi. Thanks for watching today.